Computational English by Lucian Green. Intertextuality 2 of 4. 11. I prepared to play tennis at the appointed time. I did this by joining the sentences about the grandfather clock together. First, I wrote, grandfather clocks are the largest hall clocks. Second, I wrote, clocks contain faces to tell the time. Third, I wrote, the grandfather clock face should be at head height to tell the time most easily. In this way, I prepared to play tennis at the appointed time by joining the sentences about the grandfather clock together. 12. I prepared to eat the popcorn at a certain time. I did this by writing the sentences about the Big Ben clock tower in a hierarchy. First, I wrote, the tower stood on the ground. Second, I wrote, the clock was attached to the tower. Third, I wrote, it was good to read the clock. In this way, I prepared to eat the popcorn at a certain time by writing the sentences about the Big Ben clock tower in a hierarchy. 13. I prepared to use the clock while surfing. I did this by stepping through sentences about the octagon clock. First, I saw that the clock was surrounded by a circle. Second, I noticed that the circle was surrounded by an octagon. Third, I observed that the clock spoke the time each hour. In this way, I prepared to use the clock while surfing by stepping through sentences about the octagon clock. 14. I prepared to smile at the robot. I did this by developing a robot head as simple as a stylized icon clock dial. First, I watched the clock smile at 9:15. Second, I watched the clock smile at 2:45. Third, I wound it up to 9:15 again. In this way, I prepared to smile at the robot by developing a robot head as simple as a stylized icon clock dial. 15. I prepared to write that each organ's text was connected to each other organ's text by a text. I did this by writing how objects flowing through a world described by two joined sentences were like those flowing through the body. First, I wrote the text, I had a mouth. Second, I wrote the text, I had the food and drink pipe. Third, I wrote, the water from my mouth was swallowed into my food and drink pipe. In this way, I prepared to write that each organ's text was connected to each other organ's text by a text by writing how objects flowing through a world described by two joined sentences were like those flowing through the body. 16. I prepared to write a second self moved towards the second other. I did this by writing that the self's text was transformed into the other's text. First, I wrote, I am the self. Second, I wrote, you are the other. Third, I wrote, the self positively moved towards the other. In this way, I prepared to write a second self moved towards the second other by writing that the self's text was transformed into the other's text. 17. I prepared to be with you, like eating jam. I did this by opening the text with the other text, like a spoon. First, I wrote, I like you. Second, I wrote, you like me. Third, I wrote, we made friends. In this way, I prepared to be with you, like eating jam by opening the text with the other text, like a spoon. First, I wrote, I like you. 18. I prepared to write an argument as a single chain of reasons, so that each reason had no more than one reason attached to it above it. I did this by connecting two uses for an action together. First, I wrote the first use for, I paid for the jam, I opened the jar of jam with the spoon. Second, I wrote the second use, I tasted the jam using my spatula. Third, I connected these two uses together to be, I ate the jam with the spoon. In this way, I prepared to write an argument as a single chain of reasons, so that each reason had no more than one reason attached to it above it by connecting two uses for an action together. 19. I prepared to tell the tale. I did this by transforming I am the best into I am with therefore in literature. First, I wrote I am the best. Second, I wrote, I am. Third, I wrote, I am the best, therefore I am because I survived. In this way, I prepared to tell the tale by transforming I am the best into I am with therefore in literature. 20. I prepared to teach the child medicine. I did this by collecting the ways text to metaphysically open the child's life's text. First, I wrote from a single 80 reasonings long 8 to 5250 reasonings long pedagogical argument. Second, I reasoned out each object's x, y and z dimensions in each sentence of the argument. Third, I listened to the news about the child being conceived and observed her being born. In this way, I prepared to teach the child medicine by collecting the ways text to metaphysically open the child's life's text.